What's going on, guys? Chad here with Greenlight Shooting, and welcome back to another review video, man. It's been a minute, but we are back, and we are back with another pistol safe. Now, if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you know that I know my way around a pistol safe, man. I've reviewed more of these things than I can remember, and it's been a long time since I've seen one come through the door that has something new to offer, that gets me excited again about these pistol safes, and these guys have done it. So their name is MAXSafes. This is their pistol safe. You can find it on Amazon. I think they also have a website. Listen, this thing looks pretty similar to a lot of the other safes that have come through. Like in terms of like form and everything like that, we've seen things like this, but what we've never seen is something like this. Now, this is their new vein recognition technology. So like a lot of other safes, you know, you've got your key entry, you've got a light up code, like a kind of a thing. And then you've got this guy instead of your normal biometric sensor. And if you guys have watched me review these, I don't even really mess with the biometric sensors because I have sweaty hands and they almost never work with my fingers. They promised me that this thing is gonna work with my sweaty fingers. So I'm excited to put it to the test. I just took this thing out of the box, I put some batteries in it, and I'm gonna show you a little bit how it works. But before we do that, let's go over some of the tech specs so you can have an idea of what we're looking at here. So like I said, this is the MAXSafes gun safe with super biometric finger vein recognition lock. It is a quick access pistol safe box. It says you can either fit one full-size handgun and some accessories or two compact handguns. It's got an auto open lid safety device, and it is California DOJ certified. In addition to handguns, it can obviously also hold things like passport, cash, other valuables, documents, whatever. You can put it on your nightstand, inside vehicles. The exterior dimensions you're looking at about 13 inches by about 10.5 inches by about 4 inches. On the inside, you're looking at 12.2 inches by 8.3 by 3.3 inches. This thing is constructed of heavy 14 gauge carbon steel housing and a robust 14 gauge pry resistant door for strength and security. It incorporates a reliable high strength locking mechanism and precise fittings that are virtually impossible to pry open with hand tools. It comes with an unconditional 1-year warranty and of course the vein recognition biometric gun safe technology that features an advanced finger vein recognition scanner for reliable and accurate protection, which can never be copied and is impossible to fabricate. It also acknowledges sweaty fingers, wet fingers, oily fingers with damage or no fingerprint at all. So that gives you an idea on what we're dealing with here. So far, I've been really impressed with this thing, and not only because of this new technology, but also because they're going extra steps with this thing. So we've seen other safes that look like this come through the door, right? But one thing I noticed right off the bat is this lid actually like concaves down kind of behind this lid right here. It doesn't give you any space. Like, you know, if it's two things that meet up right here, you can fit like a pry bar or something in there. This lid actually like goes down, so it doesn't really ever meet at a point where you could get a tool in there to pry this open. So that's number one. Number two is check this out. You know, we've got 3 modes of entry right here, but I put this key in. Listen to this. Now, you see that soft open. I've seen safes that are similar to this where that lid flies open and it actually pulls the safe up like that and it rocks or it hits into a wall back here. So they've got this soft open hydraulic opener, which is dope, right? It feels like a high-end kitchen when you're slamming cupboards or drawers or whatever, and it won't slam. It like goes like this and then it slowly closes. That's another thing that just shows that they're paying attention to their product. And the last thing that stood out to me that's just another small thing is when I was putting batteries in this, so there's a battery compartment here, you take off that cover, and normally you're trying to kind of crane your neck in there, see what you're doing and get batteries in. They've actually allowed you to get the battery compartment out, and you can put these in. You can also disconnect it from this, put the batteries in and reconnect it right here. It just makes accessibility that much easier. And again, that's something that I really appreciate. Now, this thing is running on 4 AA batteries that are not included, so keep that in mind. Kind of a pain, but not that big of a deal. Also inside this battery compartment is the hidden button, which is sort of your program button, your registration button, I think they call it. You push that in, you can see this lights up, and that is how you input like your new passcode. So you push that button, put in your passcode, push that button. I think you do that 3 times or whatever, and that's how you program the new passcode. Same thing with the vein recognition. So the inside is lined with like a really, really dense black foam. You see this foam a lot on firearm things because it does a good job of not like absorbing firearm oil or like, you know, marring up any of your firearms or anything like that. So that's a pretty standard practice, but it is nice to see that it is totally lined in here with that dense foam. And then over on this edge is another sort of small compartment, but it's meant to house this hydraulic arm, so you can't really use it. But for the most part, there's certainly enough room in here for pretty much any size handgun that you need. We'll do a couple size tests here in a bit, but yeah, it definitely looks like it can hold whatever you need. One last thing to mention on the interior of this is while the hardware is still kind of out and about in here, a lot of the other safes that I see come through with the same construction don't even take the time to try and hide the hardware. At least these guys are like powder coating things black, so they just kind of blend in. A lot of times you'll just see these silver screws and silver bolts hanging out, and it's just not only an eyesore, but it also just kind of draws attention to the fact that they didn't even care to try and hide the hardware. So again, just another point for these guys on the fact that they're taking some pride in what they're making. So let's move on to the vein recognition technology. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? So I'm gonna actually, I've already input one of my fingers just to make sure it worked, but I wanna let's just put in a new finger right here. So I'm gonna push this registration button. I'm gonna put this finger in, turns yellow, I do it again, yellow, I do it one more time. And I think that was successful. So that's how you do it. You've got 50 different vein recognition like IDs that you can have stored at any time. So if I close this, boom, and then I'm gonna take that new finger, boom. That's pretty dope, man. Like, my fingers are sweaty, and they're sweaty to the point where I've never been able to rely on anything biometric. Even my iPhone, like the Touch ID thing, I could never use that. It just never worked for me. So the fact that they've come up with something, look at that, and it's reliable. Like, yeah, I could get the biometric things to work once in a while, but not every time. That was 2 for 2. Let's see, can we hit 3 for 3? That doesn't happen with me in biometric sensors. So that, I mean, it's game changing for me. It really is. I have so many safes that I just disregard the biometric sensor because it doesn't work. So the fact that they're including this, not only for people with sweaty hands, but in the Amazon reviews, if you read it, there's one guy who says he just got done working on his car or whatever and had oily hands, and it read through his oily hands. People with like burn marks on their hands, or people like who have lost their fingerprint, like fully fingerprint on their finger for whatever reason, now have another option. So I really think these guys are pushing the game forward in a way that hasn't been seen before. So first off, hats off to them for innovating, and then hats off once again for innovating on something that actually really truly works. I'm excited that this works. Like, look at this. It's so fun that that works. I've never been able to do that before. Super cool. So anyways, I'm gonna throw some guns in here. Let's see what fits and what doesn't fit, and we'll go from there. Okay. While I was grabbing these things to try and test out the size of this, I decided I want to push this thing a little bit further because, like, it's easy for you to say that, oh, you don't have that sweaty hands, whatever. So I have here a cup of water. See that? My hands are literally dripping water right now. Oh my gosh, that is dope, dude. That's so cool. There's no denying that technology works now. Man, that's really exciting. Okay. I'm gonna put this water over here. Let's talk about the size. Let me adjust camera here a bit. Okay, so here is the interior. Let's try a couple different guns. So this is a SIG P320 with a compensator on it. I can put that in with just tons and tons of room. Here is a Faxon, this is their FX19. It's basically a Glock 19, but I've got an extended 23 round mag on it. I've got an optic, and I've got a compensator. And I can fit that entire thing in there, as well as that SIG, as well as room for like I don't know, at least one more extra mag. So honestly, this thing is bigger than I expected for sure. Here is another new gun. You guys haven't seen the video on this yet, but this is the FK-BRNO PSD. This thing is massive. This is probably the largest semi-auto handgun for sure that I've ever owned. And if I put this in here, I mean, once again, just so much room. We've got 3 magazines here. Those all fit with tons and tons of room left over. I could fit 1, 2, probably at least 2, maybe even 3 boxes of ammo in here with all that. Obviously wallets, cash, passports, all that stuff can be in here as well. But I'm very surprised at how much room this thing has. Closes easily. Hold up, hold up. It just never gets old. It just never gets old. So who is this safe made for and what is it made for? And to me, there's a couple answers. Number one is it's peace of mind, right? If you're a dad like me, I've got 2 little toddlers running around the house. I don't want them getting into my firearms, obviously. There's also things like, you know, cash and valuables and passports and documents and things that's just nice to be able to put in here and not wonder where they are when someone asks for their birth certificate. It's like, oh, they're in the safe. It's super easy to remember. And then obviously keeping it out of little hands. There are 2 pre-drilled holes on the bottom I forgot to mention. So, you know, I would definitely recommend mounting this down somewhere or at least getting like a steel cable set up and getting this thing locked in somewhere where someone can't pick it up and walk away with it. Which brings me to my second point, and that's like a lot of times when I do reviews on pistol safes like this, people will say, oh, I'm not trusting that until so-and-so on YouTube decides how long it takes to pick it or to pry it open or to break this safe, whatever. I get that, but I think you're missing the idea of this safe. This is not intended to replace a proper traditional large-scale safe for your armory of firearms, for uber valuables that need to be protected from fire and water and whatever else. This is meant as a quick access option for valuables and things like that. So for me, you know, you're in like a home intruder invasion or whatever, it's the middle of the night. This thing gives you a way to access your firearms quickly and reliably and close to wherever you are. For me, my large traditional safe is downstairs. I have to go downstairs. I have to like spin the dial a million times to get into it. That's not applicable. It's not realistic. This gives you quick access. These buttons light up. The interior has a light, so when it's dark, you can see what you're doing. This thing is relatively quiet, a lot more quiet than me spinning a dial and spinning like, you know, arms that'll open the safe. So it's not intended to replace that traditional safe. It is intended to give you peace of mind and quick access to things when you need it. So in that realm, I think this thing is absolutely one of the best I've seen.
And price-wise, we're coming in at $159.
And honestly, I'm good with that price point. And let me tell you why. I've seen enough of these things to come through to have a good gauge of what price point works and doesn't work. When you start to get to the $100 and under safes, you start to sacrifice a lot of quality and a lot of features. When you start to get above 150 into the 200, 300 and plus range for pistol safes like this, you start getting into tech safes, things that require Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and apps. And those things are great for some people, but they're not great for other people. I'm one of those people that I don't want apps on my phone if I don't have to have them. They just junk up what I've got going on, and it makes it so that I have to change features when I pull out my phone. Like, I don't want to deal with that. I just want something that opens and closes and stays closed. That's all I need. Also, I need something that'll work with my sweaty fingers. It just, it's so fun. But you get the idea. You get a good looking safe. You get a safe that is full of all the right features. It is built well and it won't break the bank. So I don't know, man. I feel really, really good about this safe with the new technology, with the features you need, the light up key code, the lighted interior, you know, the backup hard key, and just something that's made robust that you can mount down, gives you peace of mind, gives you quick access. I'm a fan, dude, for real.
And you know I got you guys. So if you want to pick one of these safes up for a limited time only, use the promo code in the video description below for 20% off.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you were down for the ride, and I'll catch you next time on Greenlight Shooting. Peace out.